So today, March 3rd, 2026. Yesterday we were talking about Satipatthana, firmly established awareness on the object of observation. As we are doing this mindfulness meditation, we need to cultivate and develop that kind of mindfulness, Satipatthana. Just an ordinary mindfulness is not enough to develop knowledge. Though this Satipatthana, firmly established mindfulness on the object of observation, is very essential in the practice, but at the beginning of the practice, we may not have that type of mindfulness. We need to work on to develop that kind of mindfulness. And to develop that kind of extraordinary mindfulness in the practice, we need to fulfill especially the two factors, the Sakkacca Karita and Satata Karita, or Sakkacca Kiriya and Satata Kiriya. Sakkacca Kiriya means to work respectfully, to do the job of observing the objects respectfully. And Satata Kiriya is to do the job continuously without break. So Sakkacca Kiriya, if we work on respectfully, then we can gain the benefits from that practice. So when we work respectfully, then we should not care about the surroundings. Means we should not pay attention to the surroundings. We don't need to care what's happening around us. That means we should not look here and there. We should not listen what other people talking, and we should not talk with others. And also we should not talk oneself. So only if we can behave that way, then we would be practicing very respectfully. So in the practice, not looking here and there means restraining our eyes. Though we have a very good eyesight, but we still need to behave as a blind, that a blind person does not see anything. so too we have to behave as a blind. So we must behave that we didn't see anything, means we are not looking around us, we are not looking here and there, but just looking inside our body and the mind. So that way, uh, if we can practice that way, then we are doing our job of observing the objects respectfully. So we should follow, we should try to have a quality, one of the quality of a rooster. The one of the quality of a rooster is that a rooster, though it has an eye, though it can see on the day, but at night time a rooster cannot see anything. A rooster becomes blind at night time. It cannot see anything. So too we should behave as a blind. So we don't see anything, and when we do not see anything, then the raga or lust will not arise within us, and also dosa, anger, will not arise within us. We would be preventing these kilesas, lust, hatred, from entering into our mind. Because if we look here and there and we happen to see some desirable things around us, if we are not mindful, if we are not able to uh, observe, able to note immediately as seeing, and if then the lust or raga may arise. And if we happen to see undesirable things around us, and again if we forget to note it immediately, then anger, hatred may arise. And these lust and anger make our mind impure. So if we did not look here and there, then there is no chance for this lust and hatred to arise. So behaving as a blind, though we have a very good eyesight, is a way we are practicing respectfully. And again, though we have a very good ear, but not paying attention to the sound, and that is also the way of practicing respectfully. Deliberately, we are not listening, we are not paying attention to any sound occurring around us. Again, if that sound is, if we hear the sound, if we try to listen what other people talking, and we found it, oh, it is nice, it is sweet, then the lust may arise. But the sound we heard is something we don't like, then dosa, hatred may arise. So to prevent this uh, lust and hatred from occurring, better is not to pay attention, not to listen any sound. And if we heard sound, then we have to observe it immediately, note it as hearing, focusing in the ear. And also another fact is not uh, talking with others. Though we have a knowledge, but we are not talking about it, we behave as a dumb that we cannot speak. And if we practice that way, not talking with other people, then that is practicing respectfully Sakkacca Kiriya. And here, sometimes we avoid talking with other people, but still we are talking in our mind. So if we let our mind talking continuously, then that is also not good. We are not practicing respectfully. So we should try our best not to talk oneself, because it is very difficult to end that talking when we talk oneself. If two people are talking, then it is easy to end that conversation. But when we are having conversation in our mind, sometimes it may take 1 hour, 2 hours, but it goes continuously. We cannot stop it. And that means we lose our mindfulness for long time. If we talk in our mind for 1 hour, we are losing mindfulness for whole 1 hour. And at that time, many kinds of defilements entering in our mind. And therefore, letting the mind talking is also a disrespect to the practice. So we should not talk ourselves, and if we can stop that kind of talking in the mind, then it is the respectful practice. So if we do not look here and there, if we do not pay attention to the sounds around us, if we do not talk with others, and also if we do not talk with oneself, then we are doing our job of the observation of the presently arising objects very respectfully. And not only that, if we move slowly, if we reduce our physical activities to zero speed, then that is also the respectful practice. Though we have a strength, though we are very strong, healthy, we should behave as a weak person. We should behave as a sick person. Means we have to do every activities very slowly and very mindfully. Why we have to do our activities slowly? Because all physical and mental phenomena occurring within us are very fast. The mental and physical phenomena appearing and disappearing in very quick manner. So if we move very quickly, then we won't be able to discern. We won't be able to see that quick nature of mental and physical phenomena. Therefore, in Satipatthana practice, we have to move very slowly all the time. When we sit down, when we stand up, when we go from one place to another place, when we are eating, taking shower, when we are using restrooms, we have to do very slowly and mindfully. But at the beginning, that would be very difficult. At the beginning of the practice, that will be very, very difficult because in everyday life, we are in so hurry, we are moving very fast. Therefore, when the teachers ask the yogis to reduce the speed of their movements, sometimes many people said that, many yogis replied that it's difficult. I cannot. Because this is my habit of moving very quickly in my life. I never move slowly. So at the beginning of the practice, it is very difficult, not very easy. But it is not impossible. We have to try. We have to try our best. Many times we move very fast. Once we notice, once we realize, then we have to slow it down. We have to slow it down. At the beginning, we feel very tired when moving slowly. We may have many discomfort in the body when we are moving slowly. We feel, oh, it's very hard. It's not easy to move slowly. And sometimes we feel that when we move slowly in walking meditation, in daily activities, when we move slowly, we feel that the mind wanders a lot. When we move fast, there is not much wandering mind. We feel like that. But actually, it is not like that. When we move slowly in walking and in daily activities, in changing the postures, we come to know more about our mind, the nature of our mind, how our mind is behaving. Though we think, oh, my mind is okay, not much wandering. But when we slow down our motion, then we come to see how fast, how quickly this mind wandering, thinking or imagining. So slowing down the physical activities is not easy at the beginning of the practice, but if we keep on trying, then we will be able to do so. And when we slow down, how can we slow down? Like now we are doing sitting meditation. The time is up. Now it's time for walking meditation. The bell rang. Sometimes what we do, as soon as the bell rang, we open our eyes, we move our body, and we just stand up to go out from this Dhamma hall. If we do that way, that means we are not doing respectfully. So, slowing down our activities, our motion, is when we hear the bell sound. We have to note that. Hearing. If the mind is already on that sound, then we have to note it as hearing, focusing in the ear. And then there might be a desire to open the eyes. There might be a desire to um, get up. Then we have to note that desire to get up, desire to get up. After that, there might be an intention, there might be a desire to open the eyes. If we notice that intention, then we have to note that desire to open, desire to open. But here, if we did not notice that desire, that intention, then we don't need to note it. Only if we notice that desire to open the eyes, then we have to note it. Otherwise, no need. And if after the desire, now it's time to open the eyes, then we have to open it slowly and mindfully, not just at once. Yeah, slowly opening the eyes. After that, the each movements of our hands and legs and body, we have to do it very slowly and mindfully. We should not move two hands at the same time, one by one. Yeah, because if we move both hands at the same time, we cannot focus both hands because the mind always takes one object at a time. The mind can focus only one object at a time. So when practicing respectfully, we should move our hands one by one. Yeah. After that, we move our legs. We bow the Buddha. That one also we have to do very slowly and mindfully. Then now it's time to stand up, we stand up very slowly, if possible, inch by inch. Yeah, very slowly, mindfully, inch by inch. So that is the way of practicing respectfully. After coming to the upright position, in the standing position, then we note that standing, then turning, and after that there might be an intention to step on. If we found that intention, then we note it. If we did not find that intending mind, then we don't need to note. And then we step on right, left, right, left. So it is very important to be mindful at the moment of changing the postures from sitting to standing and also from standing to sitting down. This time, if we are not careful, we very easily lose our mindfulness. Very easily we lose our mindfulness. So we have to be very careful and we have to do it slowly. After walking meditation also, when it's time for sitting meditation, after arriving on our sitting area, sitting place, when we are about to sit down, if we notice the intention to sit down, we have to note from there. Intention to sit, and slowly sitting down, if possible, inch by inch. But when sitting down or standing down inch by inch, for the elders, it might be a bit difficult for them to keep the body in balance. But for the youngsters, it is not very difficult. So when we sit down or stand up slowly, we can see the very true natures occurring at that very moment very clearly. How these natures are changing moment by moment. We can see that. And also we come to know about the nature of our mind, whether the mind following this sitting or standing up process very closely or not. We can see that. And during sitting hours, sometimes we might have a very severe pain. And sometimes the pain becomes very unbearable. At that time, too, first we have to observe it very closely with patience. We should not move, we should not change the posture immediately. If we change the posture immediately, that means we are not very respectful to the practice. So first we have to observe it as much as we can. We have to observe that pain. But later on, it becomes so painful that we cannot bear it anymore, and we really need to change the posture. Then only we change. But when changing the postures, when we change the posture, at the time too, we have to be very careful. We should not lose our mindfulness. We should not lose our mindfulness. Very mindfully, we change the posture, means we move our legs. So we do not lose our mindfulness. We will have a very continuous mindfulness, though we need to, though we change the posture. So if we can do that way, means this is also the practicing very respectfully. So what kind of benefits we gain by practicing respectfully? If we practice that way, we come to know about the mind and matter, the nature, the very true nature of mind and matter. And not only that, we will be able to distinguish that mind and matter. Mind and matter are two different things. They are not one. We come to distinguish that, and also we come to see the cause and effect relation of this mind and matter. And later on, we come to know the three characteristics: anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Impermanent, suffering, and non-self natures. Later on, we come to discern how quickly this mind and matter appear and disappear, how quickly they arise and dissolve. We come to see that. And later on, we come to discern the dissolution, only the dissolution of those objects. Means we develop, we can gain the knowledge stage by stage. So that kind of benefit we can gain when we practice respectfully. Therefore, practicing respectfully is a very important fact in this Satipatthana meditation in order to develop knowledge. But again, it is not very easy because we have a habit of uh, doing things very quickly, not paying attention, uh, and we are uh, living our life in superficial way. So it is not easy, but we still can do it. And when observing, when doing the things very slowly and trying to be mindful of every movements, the two mental powers The two mental factors are also very helpful, very supportive. The one is focusing the object, the focusing each movements, each activities, and also another one is effort, propelling the mind towards the object so that the mind will reach on that very object. So focusing and effort, these two mental factors should be present all the time. And if we have these two mental factors, focusing the object and effort, then the noting mind will directly fall on the object of observation. And that is also the nature of respectful practice. Therefore, if we practice respectfully, very easily we will develop mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. So the respectful practice will close the door for unwholesome matters, and it will open the door for wholesomeness. And when we are able to develop more wholesomeness, our mind becomes more pure and clean, and we gain a peacefulness in the mind. So that is one factor very important to develop the satipatthana, extraordinary mindfulness. And another factor is Satacca Kiriya, continuous practice, working continuously, non-stop, without any break. We may be in different postures, sometimes sitting, sometimes standing, sometimes walking, sometimes lying down, or sometimes doing other activities. But the noting should be flowing like a river. The noting should be going very continuously. Whichever position we are, it doesn't matter, but the noting should be there all the time. No break. Only at night when we fall asleep, that is the time for rest, and of course there won't be any noting. But when we are awake, in whichever position we are in, we have to make a note of every object occurring at that very moment. Therefore, one noting should be connected with the another. One mindfulness should be connected with the second, the another mindfulness. One concentration should be connected with the next one. So there should be a connection, no gap. So when we do sitting meditation or walking meditation or in daily activities, whatever objects becomes dominant, the noting mind must catch, must observe those objects immediately. There is no time for questioning, any questioning. There is no time for thinking about. There is no time to check that object. What is happening? why is happening, what will happen next. So we don't have a time to think about that object. As soon as the object becomes predominant, the noting mind should focus it and note it immediately. If we, without noting it immediately, if we are thinking about that object, then our noting, our observation is not continuous. So there should be a continuity in observing the objects. And in the text, this type of continuous observation is regarded as appamada. The Pali word appamada is vigilance, carefulness, or it is simply a mindfulness. So if we are able to observe the objects occurring at that very moment, one by one continuously, then we are vigilant. We are having a very good mindfulness. We are not losing mindfulness. So we are not letting our mind freely on the sensual pleasures, the 5 kinds of sensual pleasures. Not letting the mind freely on the 5 kinds of sensual pleasures is appamada, vigilance. So that type of, that way we have to work in the practice, noting every objects, every obvious objects continuously. No break at all. That is, therefore, the another word for this Satata Kiriya in Pali is nirantara. Nirantara means no gap. Antara is gap, ni means no. So nirantara means no gap. There shouldn't be any gap between 2 notings. The noting should be very continuous. Though we are changing, though we are in different positions, but the noting should be flowing very smoothly like one. But still at the beginning, it is not very easy to have that kind of continuous observation, but we should try our best so that we would be able to note very continuously. So in the text, the simile is given of a pigeon. When we feed grains to the pigeon, a pigeon picks up grains one by one continuously. Its attention will always be on the grains. The pigeon will not look here and there. It always pay attention to the grains, and it picks up grains one by one. So continuously picking up the grains. Though the grains are scattered on the floor everywhere, but the pigeon can pick up one by one non-stop. So that way, we meditators should pick up the objects, the obvious objects. We should not be like a crow. A crow, when it tries to eat something, it cannot eat continuously because the crow always have a kind of fear. So the crow, it eat a little bit, it look here and there whether the enemy is trying to harm me. So it's looking here and there, then eat. Again, it look here and there, then eat. So the crow never eat continuously like a pigeon. Therefore, Sayadaw always encourage yogis not to behave as a crow, but try to behave as a pigeon, try to note the objects, the obvious objects continuously. So that kind of noting is also very important to develop an extraordinary mindfulness. Therefore, whenever we do meditation, for the beginners and also for the experienced yogis, these two things, noting, practicing respectfully and noting continuously, it is very important. If we can apply these two things in our practice, we would be able to see the very true natures. We would be able to gain the knowledge very quickly. So may you all be able to have these two qualities, respectful practice and continuous observation, so that you gain your goal very soon. That's all for today.